Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of My Monday Mission. If this is your first time here and you don't know me yet, hi, my name is Jane Carla, and every Monday I sit down with successful and incredible entrepreneurs to share their stories, their wins, their struggles, and everything in between. So if you don't know me, if you're looking for inspiration or strategies or just a real talk, of what it really takes to build something great, you are in the right place. So let me introduce myself quickly. My name is Jane Garla. I've been a professional dancer for 15 years now. I'm currently living and working here in London. I'm originally from the Philippines, and I also run my online business alongside my full-time job. I'm really excited to share this story of this amazing woman. I've only met her online. We've had her in one of our team huddles before, and her story really struck me. So I decided to invite her, and she's been generous to say yes and give her time, share her time, and share her story despite her very busy schedule. So without further ado, I'm going to add her to the stage and let her introduce herself. Hi, Coach Ivy. Welcome. Thank you so much again for saying yes.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. Give us a brief introduction of yourself and where you're from and what you're currently doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Ivy. I live in California, USA. I am a mom, a wife. I have 3 daughters that keep me very, very busy. And I'm also an online business owner.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much. All right. So give us a little bit of insight of what your story is before you discover this business opportunity and what made you pursue digital entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. So, geez, where do I begin? I've worked in various countries, various industries, and long story short, I used to be an international flight attendant. I lived out of my suitcase, traveled the world for a living, which was great until my husband and I got married, and then we got pregnant with our first child. And I thought to myself, you know what? I don't really want to do this anymore. I wanted to be there for the little things, the big things, and everything in between. I didn't want to miss out on just the simple things like bedtime or bath time, because those are the kind of things that really mean the most, right? So I decided that I would trade my trolley for a stroller, and I quit that job. I moved to Singapore to be with my husband, and there I decided that I would build a corporate ladder, which was great. Totally loved what I did, grew so much. But as I grew in my career, my family grew too, and as my family grew, so did that desire to really be more present as a mom and a wife. And fast forward to a couple of years later, I now had 2 kids, and we were like, you know what, we need to move back to the US, which is where I'm originally from. And so we did. And I told my husband, it's different compared to life in Asia, where it's a bit more laid back. You have help and such. In the US, it was pretty much just him and I. So I told him I would take a step back. I was no longer looking for a career. All I wanted was a quick and easy job. One that was probably 5 to 10 minutes away from my kids' school, the nearest Costco, basically all the places that I would need to go as a mom. And obviously one that totally understood that, yes, I'll be a great employee, but first and foremost, I'm a mom. So if I need to leave in the middle of the day to go to a school play, then that's what I need to do. And I'm very lucky because that's exactly what I found. However, after a certain period of time, it kind of felt like the learning ended, the growth ended. I wasn't challenged enough. And I was at a point where I felt like, is this it? Like, I can't, there has to be more. And I wanted to do more, but I wasn't sure exactly what I could do that wouldn't require me to take time away from my family, because that's always my number one priority. And I've been seeing a lot of people at coffee shops working and at the beach working, and I'm thinking, what are these people doing? And I came across an ad online, and it was a couple that was talking about how they were in Mexico and they had a business and it was still running, yada yada yada, and it just really, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I checked it out, I did my research. I asked a lot of questions, and that's when it hit me. This was a source of income that would allow me to earn at my own time and pace without sacrificing quality time with my family. And that's pretty much it.
So that was your biggest deciding factor, you could say, is really your desire to spend more time with your family. Even.
Absolutely. I've always, well, so before I became a mom, I couldn't picture myself being a mom. And and then I became a mom, and then it was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I was meant to do. This is exactly who I was meant to be. And I knew for sure that I wanted to be that mom that was present, one that could volunteer for lunch, go to field trips, really just be there day to day, not just for the awards and huge things, but for all the little things that really mean so much. And so that has always been my main priority, to be there for my husband and my kids.
That is very inspiring because I don't have kids yet, but I want to have kids in the future. And I think when I found this opportunity, like you, that's why I wanted to invite you because I could relate so much. I don't know why. I haven't, I know what your story was, but I just could relate to, your energy as well. And I feel like I too before could not picture myself as a mom, but like as time passed by, I know that I want to be a mom. I want to have kids in the future. And given that I'm a performer and I'm always on stage, there's really no world where I can work from home from what I
Right.
do.
Yes.
So when I found this opportunity as well, I was like, let me just explore it and the rest is history. So what was your biggest deciding factor when you found this opportunity? What made you decide that this is it, apart of course from the flexibility that it could offer?
Well, I mean, I think for me, it was the fact that I really did research. I come from a very 9 to 5, get a college degree and work until you're old and gray background, where that was, I grew up and that was what they fed me the whole time. Get a college degree, go to school, and you'll be set for life. What they failed to mention was that means you're going to work until you're 65 or 70 years old. And so for me, the deciding factor was, I did my research, I checked it all out. I asked questions from people that I literally do not know that I saw that are in the community. And it's because I saw the potential, and my desire for change was so much stronger than all that skepticism that I had. And it just felt right. And so I was like, you know what? If all else fails, then hey, at least I tried, and I know for sure that it doesn't work. But at this point, it's been over 4 years and I'm still here. So it works.
Amazing. And you just answered a little bit my next question. I was gonna ask, how long has it been since you started? And it's been 4 years. And how is the journey so far? What were the struggles or any wins or any?
I like to tell people it's kind of like a roller coaster ride, right? You have the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, and you get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, this is it. I've built my momentum. This is it. And then all of a sudden it goes down again and it goes up. But it's really, really an incredible experience, right? And those that really see success are the ones that just hold on tight to that roller coaster and enjoy the ride. And I like to tell people, I like to be very, very honest in saying, it's not easy because obviously you still need to put in work. You still need to put time and effort. Like it's not some magical business that you plug into and tomorrow you're earning $10,000 in a week, right? It doesn't work that way. It takes work to make it work. It takes money to make money, but there is so much potential in this business. So this journey has been incredible. I have seen so much growth in myself, more than just the financial rewards, honestly, to be able to be like boss babe while just wearing PJs and like wiping boogers off my kids and having them right next to me is just incredible. It's just flexibility like no other.
That's amazing. So what is, you could say, one of the biggest challenge that you face in this business? Because you said it's a roller coaster ride, right? So like on those downs, what was one of the biggest challenges that you faced in this business?
Honestly, I have a lot, mostly because prior to starting this business, obviously you can't tell looking at me now, but I was very private. I didn't really post a lot on social media. I was one of those like, okay, I'll go on Facebook just to message people or like check in on people, but not really post much, right? So I think for me, the biggest challenge was getting out of that comfort zone and really putting myself out there.
Yeah.
But it's all a matter of, your mindset, right? Once I realized that, what, all it takes is for me to do a couple of posts online to earn thousands of dollars. I would much rather do that than have to bug people, call family and friends, be that one person that people start avoiding because they're like, ooh, she's going to offer you something. Don't talk to her. Don't make eye contact. And so that's why, and I started posting, and at first it was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hit post, and it's like, people are going to see it. And I was so nervous. And you have so many fears. You fear being judged. You fear failing. You fear people seeing you fail. But at the end of the day, you realize without taking risk, there really isn't anything that's going to happen that is outside of that normal 9 to 5 work until 65 and beyond. So that for me was the biggest struggle that I had to go through, on top of the fact that, as I said earlier, my mind was set to get a college degree, find a job, work until you're old and gray, and anything outside of that is too risky.
And I think you've already tapped on the next question I was going to ask, because my question was, what was one belief that you had to let go of in order to grow into who you are today? And I think you've mentioned that belief that,
yes,
the only way is to work 9 to 5, university degree, work 9 to 5, work until you're 65 and 70 and wait for retirement. And also you let go of that fear of people seeing you, seeing what you do, people judging you. And that's evident enough that you've grown into a totally different person. If there's another thing that you had to let go of, like one belief that really contributed to who you are today, and maybe we could say the success that you have today in this business.
It's pretty much what we already talked about. Those were the biggest beliefs, honestly. I think people get so stuck thinking that this is what's normal and this is what's safe, that they're too scared to get out of their comfort zone. But you guys, it is so much more beautiful on the other side. I mean, you see, as someone that's in the business as well and has been here for a while now, right? We have people in the community that are retired in their early 20s. Yes. People that decide to start the business in late 60s or 70s. And it's just amazing because it's a platform that literally everyone and anyone can plug into. And as long as they put in the work and follow the training, they can see results.
Yeah. And it's, and I remember you said when I was asking if you could do this live interview, and you mentioned you had to check your schedule because your kids all had field trips, did you say? And you were like, and you had to go to all of them. And yes, it's such an amazing thing to hear, like, to be a present mom. And I know it's a lot to juggle, but I know it's something that, it's worth really working hard for. I just want to ask, how are you able to juggle all of that? Because the different schedules, 3 kids, and then being a wife also, and then this business. How are you able to, do you have like a certain routine, or how do you manage your time?
I mean, I think motherhood just makes you somehow automatically an expert at doing a million things at one time, and honestly, for me, the way that I'm able to do it is just because with our business, you don't have to clock in specific hours, right? It's not like a 9 to 5 job where I need to be sitting at a desk from 9 to 5. Otherwise, I'm not earning money. With our business, I can work whatever time works for me. And honestly, usually that's like when I'm at the pickup line, or my daughter is, doing her volleyball class or gymnastics class. That's like an hour here, an hour there, and put all together, you have over 2-3 hours a day that you can put into working on your business versus just mindlessly scrolling through social media. I think that's, like, honestly the biggest factor as to how I managed to run a business while being a present mom and a present wife. Because I have 3 kids, like I said, and each kid has a different activity, different pickup, different drop off. And so there is a lot, but because, you work at your own time and pace, this business is designed to give you not just financial flexibility, but time flexibility. And that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah. And you could absolutely work around this business and not having to and have the business work for you instead of you working for the business all the time. And that's really the beauty of this opportunity. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mhm.
My last question would be, what's one thing that you could advise someone who's still skeptical or who's still thinking to explore this opportunity?
Oh my gosh. I would say, you know what, if it feels right, go for it. We're all real people. We have our lives out there. We're telling our stories. There's really nothing to lose but a couple of moments of your time actually learning about the business. And if it's a fit, great. We'll help you get started. If it's not, no worries. We're not in the business of chasing people. You're free to go. But I would say for sure, if it's something, if you're someone who is looking for more flexibility in your life, you want to make more money on the side while still working your full-time job, or you want to replace your full-time job, definitely look into this business. You owe it to yourself to look into it because the earning potential here is incredible. When you run a business online, you have an office without walls. That in itself is incredible. And you can do business without borders, literally with anyone in the world, all from the comfort of your car, your dance studio, your bathroom, whatever. The possibilities are really endless. So if you have been, checking this out, but you haven't taken that first step, just follow the steps, learn about it. If it's a fit, you never know. This might be the change that you're looking for.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing your story. It's been really inspiring. I'm going to continue to, follow your journey and follow your success, and maybe, maybe harness that a little bit of what you're experiencing right now, because I've just started my business, and I'm still in the beginning of my journey, and I'm gathering inspiration and really trying to fuel my motivation. And I think that's one of the beauty of this community, is because you meet people, basically strangers. You meet them online, but they're all willing to help. They're all willing to share their story and their time. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. I'm not going to keep you too long. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing everything that you've shared today. Do you have any last words that you want to impart to everyone who's watched?
No, just go for it. Don't waste your time thinking shoulda, woulda, coulda, because time goes by so quick. Like we're in the middle of 2025.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And all it takes is that first step. We have people in the community. Here's one thing for you to think about, okay? We have people in our business community that have been able to retire in a matter of months, a year and a half. And some of you that have been watching might have been watching for a couple of months, and that in those couple of months, if you had already gone for it, you might be halfway to your road to retiring early, or, achieving whatever goals you might have. So don't waste your time, check it out. And that way you can make an informed decision as to whether or not this business is for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ivy. It was lovely, lovely to have you here today. I'm not going to keep you long. And I'll see you virtually online. Don't leave yet.
Okay.
I still have to thank you again. Okay. All right. That is it for today's Monday Mission episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you got as much value and inspiration that I got from that story that we've shared today from Ivy. And if you did learn something of it, you were inspired, or that shifted something in you, feel free to leave a comment. Share this live to anyone who you might think would want to watch it. Give my business page a follow. It would really, really mean a lot to me and my business. And drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. I would love to hear them. And if you're curious about how you can also start your online business and build passive income and work from anywhere, visit my website, register your name and email, and you will get all the tools, resources, and support that you will need to get started. That's how easy it is to start. And like what Ivy said, just go for it. If you have a gut feel and even if you're just a tiny bit curious, just go for it. This business opportunity is worth exploring. So I hope to see you all again next Monday for another inspiring chat. Until then, keep dreaming big and taking bold action. You have got this. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve, and hopefully work with you in creating a life you deserve. See you next Monday. Bye.